On this episode of the Justin Print Show, you're going to meet an incredibly powerful woman named Courtney Davis. Courtney is not only is she a dear friend of mine, but she's someone that I learn from. And how do you overcome some of the real life challenges that so many of us face? You know, growing up both with a single mom and then a single grandma, she had no men in her life, to becoming an entrepreneur, to overcoming challenges in her marriage, to overcoming challenges in her health, to becoming the top 1% of her profession and her career. She's just one of those really inspiring people that you meet that has a deep sense of the principles and the values that drive them as a human and that are willing to stand up for it, even in the face of adversity. So I'm excited for you guys to meet Courtney Davis. How has being raised by a single mom and a single grandma, how has that shaped you, both as a woman, as a businesswoman, and how do you use that as inspiration to grow your life?
Yeah. So, growing up with a single mom, being raised by my grandmother until 8 years old, I was really surrounded by strong women, but there was a dynamic between my grandmother and my mom. My grandmother was really strong. She was vice president of a huge sales company. And then my mom, struggled with a little bit of codependency on my grandmother and myself. And so, I wasn't around men really at all growing up. No uncles, no brothers, no father. So there was no male influence in my life. And so looking back on my childhood of being raised by women, it was really instilled in me that I kind of had to do it all myself. And I think that served me well in some ways because I was a fighter. I was an overcomer. I watched them master all of the roles in my life. They played the role of the dad. They played the role of the grocery shopper. They were there for all of the things that I had in my life. But it also taught me that, I could overcome any obstacle that came my way. I mean, my mom worked 3 jobs. She did the best she could to be there for any event that I had. But it really taught me that anything was possible. But it also revealed to me that I wanted to orchestrate my life differently. I wanted to be a more present mom. I wanted to be someone that had a thriving relationship, even though that wasn't modeled for me growing up, So really, I think ultimately the strength that was shown in different ways from my mom, just teaching me how to survive and overcome, and then the strength of my grandmother really just being that successful powerhouse, really shaped who I am today.
So I feel like you have transformed in your health since when we first met. It's literally like a transformation. Like when you look at your before and after picture, like, whoa, and it's not just weight, it's just you look almost just your spirit came alive. How did you have that transformation? Like what did you do to facilitate that transformation?
Yeah. So growing up, health was never a priority. I was never educated on healthy diet or exercise. I remember going to school and we would stop on the way to school and get a honey bun and a Diet Coke. My mom just did the best she could. So growing up, it wasn't really a priority for me. I tried. I heard other people. I really believed the lie for many years that I was never going to be like the fitness girl or the healthy girl. I was always the beauty girl. And, when you become a mama, a lot of things changes you. And my mom died at 60 of heart disease. She was diabetic. And I ended up having to do fertility for my children. And through that process, I gained a lot of weight, just the drugs. The second I put the medication in my body, I instantly gained 25 pounds. And so I had my sweet boy, Weston, and then we had a loss in between when he was only 4 months old, and then immediately got pregnant for my daughter, Stella. And so I just went on this journey of the things that I used to do didn't work anymore. I think, honestly, it started from a weight perspective, just was never, I couldn't just cut carbs and lose 5 pounds anymore. It was just tougher, But there was also this unveiling process to me that like, wow, I need to prioritize my health because I want to be around for these babies. I don't want to be gone at 60, And so I went on this journey of just this pursuit of how I could rewrite my story, right? Even though I didn't grow up with knowing about health, I didn't know about nutrition, I could rewrite that, right? And that took a lot of mindset work because I think we all grow up telling ourselves a story or have this belief system that we can be good at certain things, but not at others. And I was like, no, I'm going to rewrite this story and I'm going to prioritize my health and I'm going to learn about nutrition and I'm going to make sure that I'm not on 50 different medications at 40 years old. And that's exactly what I did. And it's, it's still a journey. It's still a process. Those lies pop in. It makes it a little easier that my husband is, so passionate about health. And so we've really just gone on a journey to really teach our kids and educate in our home and just break that generational curse of, sickness and disease.
So powerful. It's been so inspiring to watch. So you mentioned Chris. Chris is one of my favorite people. And I think the way you describe it is I've been happily married for this, been married for this many years, happily for this many of those years, right? There was a time when you and Chris were really on the brink of like, let's wrap this thing up. This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And how did you take your marriage from the brink of divorce back to a really beautiful marriage?
Yeah. So, Chris and I's story is unique in the sense that we both, well, I don't even know if it's unique. I think a lot of times in today's world, we come into marriages and we bring our brokenness. I think what makes us unique is that we were both committed to the healing process, right? And I came in with that belief system about men, that all men were going to leave. And really, he didn't have a shot. Like everything he would do, everything I would say, I was just waiting for the ball to drop because no man in my life had ever stuck around, And for him, he had past relationships. His first wife had an affair. So he brought that pain in. And so we were in love, but love isn't enough sometimes, and we just brought this brokenness into the marriage. And so we were separated. I think that's right around the time actually you and I met. And, he struggled with anger. I struggled with pushing him away. We would just kind of go in these cycles. And it was during the separation process that I really started praying and just asking God, no matter what happens in my marriage, I want to be the healthiest that I can be for my little boy, right? For my daughter. If I'm going to be a single mom, like I don't want to struggle with fear and insecurity. And honestly, even though that shield or that protection of wanting to push men away, that's not really what my heart was. Like I wanted to learn to receive the love of a man on earth. I had done a lot of healing work with God and was to a place where I could receive the love from my earthly father and really walk in who I am and who he's created me to be. But that love of a man on earth was so foreign to me. And so I really just started to do the work on myself. I went through a process called inner healing. I like to say I'm a repeat offender because I took the class 4 times and then I flew to get certified to teach the class. But it really changed my life, and it modeled for me that we all have wounding and we all have pain, but we don't have to stay there, and I think that there's a lot of people in marriages that accept the brokenness. They accept just that mediocre relationship, right? And I just looked at him and I was like, if we're going to reconcile this thing, we got to be the best people individually, and then we can create a beautiful marriage. And we really both desired, again, to break that curse. We both come from divorced families. How can we rewrite our story and be the ones that make it work? So it was a lot of forgiveness, a lot of healing, a lot of choosing to see the best. But if I'm just being honest, it was a lot of supernatural grace, a lot of supernatural healing that God restored our marriage.
Did you grow up with faith, or when did you find faith in your life?
Yeah. So I was raised in church, in a religion called Assemblies of God. And so my mom and my grandmother, we went to church on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday. I was a missionette. So I was definitely around religion and had a relationship that was pretty strong when I was younger. In my teenage years, as I really started to have to provide for my mom and working all the time and just being pulled to the ways of the world, I feel like my relationship separated from God a little bit, but it was always there. I always felt the conviction of the Holy Spirit. I always felt called. Like I always felt like there was a call on my life, and man, when you just have those babies, you're just like, what really matters, and that eternal perspective. And my mom used to always say, that dash, it's so important, but it's the afterlife, this is not our home. Heaven is our home. And, as I was kind of making bad choices and struggled with some things in my life, from addiction to alcoholism, God was always with me, and I think it's us that walk away. It's us that choose the ways of the world. And man, life is so much more beautiful whenever we're walking in His will.
Hmm. Uh, you, one of the other things that you've done is you've become, you know, one of the very top in your profession, top 1% or 0.01%, and you and I have worked together now twice in kind of two different kind of situations, and you were the top 1% of both of them. Um, does that, when you think to like success principles and you think of like, as you watch this happen, what are some of those success principles that you feel like you learned growing up and you learned through your original working career in beauty that you've been able to take to the online space and take to the team building space that translated across for you?
I think that one of the things as I reflect on my career and being in the network marketing space for the last 7 years is, out of necessity, having to fend for myself and be the only one that, no one was going to wake me up in the morning for school. I had to do it myself. No one was going to tell me I needed to go to dance practice. No one was going to tell me that I had to open the doors to my salon when I was a salon owner. I had to find that drive inside of myself. And in entrepreneurship and in our space, nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's coming to rescue you. So I think that some of those things that I had to do out of necessity have really served me well. I think that because I didn't have a big family, but my heart's desire was to always be surrounded by people, I got really good at relationships. And so I really love people and love being around people. And always, I'm a gatherer. So I'm always trying to create spaces for people to gather together. And I think that that's really something that's important in this business, both one-on-one relationships and then in group settings, building teams. I also think that I'm a fast decision maker. And I think in your entrepreneurial journey, you have to be willing to be fluid in your decisions, but you also have to be committed to saying, you know what, I'm willing to take that risk and I'm willing to try something new and I'm willing to, grow in the things that I'm weak at and then maximize on the things that I'm strong in. And so I think that some of those things that just out of necessity I learned have really served me well in this space.
Mm-hmm. When you think of the people that you can serve at a really high level, like the characteristics that you look for in someone that you partner with, what does that person look like? What are their characteristics where you're like, okay, we're going to really crush it?
Yeah. So, one of the things that you say in one of our mantras here at Make Wellness is unlocking human potential. Man, I can see potential in so many people. So many people have unique gifts and callings and talents, but people stay stuck. They stay stuck in the belief system. They stay stuck in the lies. We can tell people strategy all day long. We can tell people, this is how you make a sale. This is how you recruit your team. But if they can't overcome that story and that belief system, we watch their potential just waste away, right? I know you encounter it all the time and I see it all on my team. So, my passion in this season of my business is helping entrepreneurs unlock that potential through healing through some of that story, right? Really dialing in and defining what is it to hold you back. Because if you're a high performer, you're probably really clear on what you're good at, but you might not be so clear on what that story is that holds you back, So I think men and women that have had some success maybe in life, I think my business prior to being in the network marketing space of owning a salon, I got that taste and that passion for entrepreneurship. But, whether they're a stay-at-home mom or they're someone who's had a prior existing business, I really feel like I can help them unlock that next level of their life and their business by helping them go and overcome some of those struggles that they deal with.
Yeah. Court, to me, you're one of those like just loyal ride or die friends, and it's easy to say that about somebody else as a cliche, but the ride or dies are with you both on your good days and then they're with you on your worst days, and one of the things about you is you're willing to stand up for your principles and willing to stand up for what you think is right, even if it's like standing up in essence against the mob. That's a very rare person. Most people would like just be quiet or not say anything. For you, you're like, no, this is not right. This is not how, something's off, right? And to watch you do that, at the risk of, financial pressure and the whole thing, you really see who someone really is and what, the morals and values and principles that really drive them. And it's just so cool. Like, as I watch Stella and Weston grow, as I watch you and Chris, develop your marriage, as I watch you thrive at the highest level in your business, and then watching like where you're going in your life, like these next seasons, it's almost like everything is preparatory for what you're doing now, and what you're doing now is the stuff people dream about. So I just love you. I'm so grateful we were able to kind of share this time. I think using all these things that you've overcome in your life and to see who you've turned into is a real testament to the strength of character and the strength of will that you have. So I love you and appreciate it.
Well, I love you too. And, you and I have been through some ups and some downs on my side and on yours. And there's nobody else that I'd rather be building this next season with. You are a true test to the type of person and the type of leader that I want to be. Your wife, your kids, your family. We just love and adore you guys and just feel so blessed that God trusted us enough to give us you guys as friends and as mentors.
Yeah.
So I love you.
Love you too.